Hi guys, welcome back to another reading vlog. I'm Chantel, and I'm really hoping that the title to this reading vlog was something about watch Chantel struggle through Middlemarch, or Chantel dies while reading very boring Middlemarch, or anything drastic like that. Because guess what I'm reading? I'm reading Middlemarch. I started this last night, and I'm on chapter 3, which is 29 pages in. So yeah, this one kind of accidentally got chosen for my TBR for the month. I don't really know what this book is about. I read the back. I still didn't really understand it. I've read 30 pages into it. Not really sure what's going on. It's been a long time since I've read a classic like this, so I know it's just going to take me a little while to get back into reading classics and understanding what's going on. Yeah, so this is like 800 pages. I was hoping to get this done before reading rush, which would mean reading this in 10 days. And that would mean reading 80 pages a day for 10 days, which doesn't sound too bad. But then the other part of me was like, maybe I could read 10 pages a day for 80 days, which would draw it out, but I mean, every day wouldn't be quite so painful. Oh, yeah. So I don't know, I'm going to try to figure something out. I would really like to get this off of my list before reading rush. We'll see. But last night I did finish this book. Guys, I like literally had tears running down my cheeks. And my daughter was asking me a question, asking me to help her with something, and I was like, just ignore the tears. Oh, this book was so good. And I mean, everyone has said that it was so good, but I didn't believe them. And now that I've read it, I believe them. So in this book we follow a girl who is a chimney sweep back in Victorian London, and it is a fantastical book. So she has a friend out of coal. There's a whole story behind that. Oh man, there were so many things I liked. Like I showed in my last reading vlog, I doggy-eared my library copy of the book. Yes, I know, it's taboo. I did it because there are just some things I wanted to go back and reread. And now I want to do more research on chimney sweeps, and I also want to see if there's more fiction books about chimney sweeps and like this time period in general. Something that's not Dickens. Yeah, this was so good. I highly recommend this book if you like anything fantasy or middle grade books. This one was really good. And then I'm listening to Unbroken on audio right now. I'm a third of the way through the book. And yeah, we'll see how much I get done in the next 10 days. If I need to finish this after reading rush, there are a few days left in July at the end of the month after reading rush that I can finish this in. So far this has been really good. This is one guy's story about in World War II. I don't know, like I know that what I knew of the book going into it is that their plane went down and they were stuck in the ocean. I don't know for how long that is or anything, or if that's even the main part of the book. But yeah, so far it's written really well. It's very interesting, captivating. I'm learning a lot about World War II that I did not know before. And then I have something really fun, or well, fun to me and all book-loving people. I got to pick up some library books yesterday. This is the first time I have gotten any library books since March. So like that's huge. My library is really cool. They actually, on my receipt, after I check out books, it has a tally of like how much the value of the books that I just took out, how much value that is, as well as it tallies my value for the entire year. And normally I take, well, like, between me and my kids and our like homeschool books and all that, we take out like $20,000 worth of books every year. This year, we're sitting around like $2,000 because the libraries were closed for so long. But anyway, so I had some books that were on hold since March. I didn't go pick them up before they shut down because I had a stack of books. So I got some books from March that I had requested. And then when I phoned to say I was going to pick up the books, one of my favorite librarians was working. So I asked her to go into the Christian fiction section and pick a couple of different books in the like Christian mystery suspense type genre, and I asked her to get me a couple different books that were each like the first book of a series, so I could try a couple different series out. So yeah, I've got 5 books to share here. This first one here is Hey Kiddo. This is a graphic novel that I believe I heard Amanda from the Curly Reader talking about at the beginning of the year, and I requested it, and this has been sitting in my library since March waiting for me to pick it up. I don't remember really much about it. It says how I lost my mother, found my father, and dealt with family addiction, but I don't know anything else about it other than that because it's been a long time since I heard her talking about it. But I'll give this one a go soon. I was kind of, yeah, so I was thinking with Middlemarch I would do like a certain number of pages I need to read each day, and then if I got those done, then I could read other fun books for the rest of the day. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards right now. And then this next one I got is called Bob. This is another one that's been sitting there since March, and I don't remember it. I believe this is middle grade. I think I requested it because it was middle grade March. Yeah, it's definitely middle grade based on the text and everything, but I don't know anything about it. It says it's been 5 years since Livy and her family have visited Livy's grandmother in Australia. Now that Livy's back, she has a feeling she's forgotten something really, really important about Gran's house. It turns out she's right. Bob, a short greenish creature dressed in a chicken suit, didn't forget Livy or her promise. He's been waiting 5 years for her to come back, hiding in a closet like she told him to. And then, yeah, that's about half of it. Okay. Interesting. This is really short, so maybe I can squeeze this in yet sometime this month. And then the 3 that my librarian got for me, I've never even heard of any of these authors. The only thing I told her is that I've recently this year read the If I Run series by Terry Blackstock, and she's like, oh, good thing you said that because I was going to grab that for you. So she didn't grab that, but she grabbed 3 other ones here. So we've got Oath of Honor. The very top little blurb here says, a murdered partner, a missing brother. Will Isabel's silence protect those she loves or delay justice? So that sounds interesting. Now, one thing with Christian mystery, suspense / that kind of world books is there is always a romance. Like, I mentioned in my previous video about my favorite Christian fiction books from the last year or so, that I have a thing against books that are specifically labeled as Christian romance. So I'm just wondering if I skim through here. Oh, yep. When her dead partner's brother, Ryan, a handsome homicide detective, see? You know, like there's always someone, so there's that. Now let's see this one. This one is called Deadly Proof. Like, I still plan on probably reading this because I want to find out more authors, but like so predictable. There's always something. Deadly Proof by Rachel Dillon. Standing up for what's right could cost her everything. Tapped as lead counsel in a corporate cover-up lawsuit against Mason Pharmaceutical, Kate Sullivan knows this case could make her career. Okay, so, a former Army Ranger turned private investigator, Landon James. Okay. The Lord is my shepherd. Psalm 23 Mysteries. Like, how old is this book? Oh, 2010. The cover makes it look older to me. It says, being a church secretary seemed like such a boring job until the bodies started piling up. There we go. Sounds interesting. Let's see. Is there a guy in here? There is, but he's a Jewish rabbi. Oh, Rabbi Jeremiah Silverman from the Jewish temple next door helps Cindy search for truth. Curious to see if that's another romance. But what? Oh yeah, I have so many thoughts on that. I will share that more in a separate video. But why? 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 Really, that's all I got. Okay, so that's kind of like what I'm going to be reading. It's mostly Middlemarch, and then any other books that I can squeeze in after I read my designated number of pages for the day. So that being said, I need to go read Middlemarch. So far, I have to say things are going pretty well for this reading vlog, this section of the month. Okay, Middlemarch. Not terrible, so there's that. I definitely went into it with very low expectations. I'm 142 pages in right now. My goal is to read 40 pages a day. So I've read part of my section already for today. It is definitely written like a classic. It's very wordy. There are certain paragraphs that I'm very much skimming over. The general idea here, I think, is that we follow two couples who are each kind of like get married to the wrong person, I think is the general gist. It talks about these two people and their disastrous marriages to unsuitable partners is what is on the back. So knowing that, like, who wants to read a book where people don't even like the people they end up with? I'm not at that point in the book yet, so I mean, there's a lot more to go. But I'm not looking forward to that part. And then 100 pages in, we were introduced to a whole new character set, like I think the second of the couples. Yeah, so it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it's not amazing, and I kind of don't have high expectations for the rest. So if I go at 40 pages a day, that means I will have to read this through the reading rush, and I'll be finished by the end of the month. I might read more than 40 pages some days so that I don't have to read it through the reading rush. That would be the ideal. But right now I can't push myself to read more than 40 pages of it at a time. There was a few things that I highlighted. I actually thought, because this book was written in 1871, I believe, and there was this line here about pride, and I'm not sure if pride is necessarily the right word for this, but it says, "Pride helps us, and pride is not a bad thing when it only urges us to hide our own hurts, not to hurt others." I don't think pride is the right word there, but it was very fitting for this situation. And yeah, made me think about how, like, sometimes it is helpful to, you know, push down our own feelings sometimes and just care about others instead of hurting them as a result. And then there was one other thing. Oh yes, it says, "After all, people may really have in them some vocation which is not quite plain to themselves, may they not? They may seem idle and weak because they are growing." And I thought that was interesting as I homeschool and watch my kids, and, you know, no idea what they're going to end up doing, but it's like we need to live our life to figure out what we're good at. I like that. So, I mean, yeah, so far better than I was expecting. Then I'm still listening to Unbroken. I've been listening to this while I exercise, and then I have my book out in front of me, and then I flip through the pages as it's going, and I look at the pictures. I mean, obviously, it's a World War II story of survival. Like, obviously the guy lives, I know that, but as I'm reading or listening to it, I'm like, there's no way he's gonna survive all this stuff. Like, I'd be dead 10 times over by now, probably more than that. Wow, very, very well written, very interesting. The pictures are really cool. They add to it. Yeah, so I think I have this audiobook for 10 more days. So I'll see if I can finish it on audio before then. I'm just over halfway. If I can't finish it on audio, then I'll just like read the actual thing. Okay, and then I did pick up one of those Christian suspense with an obvious romance in it. I picked up Deadly Proof. There was really no reasoning for why I picked this one up first. Honestly, this is like the one that sounds the most cheesy to me. Oh wait, no, this was a former Army Ranger, so this wasn't the handsome whatever it was. That was a different one. So we follow a woman who is a lawyer who is involved in a lawsuit that ends up endangering her life because the people are not quite, they're playing dirty. So she hires this PI who is, let's see, doesn't say anything about him being handsome on here, so that's good. Not completely, I don't know, so cheesy. Sometimes it's so cheesy. I have been, okay, we'll talk about those tabs in a minute. So far, because this girl is a lawyer, to me the book has too much legal jargon. I would rather follow just like your average Joe or a detective or something. But I'm not really into like the lawyer scene, so there's a lot of words I was like, I don't really even know what that means, or this part's boring. Or they talk about like reading through thousands of documents, and I'm just like, oh, that doesn't sound fun. But overall, I'm actually quite impressed. All of these tabs that I have here, they are all references to God, prayer, church, different conversations about faith. There is a lot more of that in this book than I remember there being in these kinds of books. I did look this up, possibly on Amazon or whatever, and on there it was first under Christian romance. So like, to me that bumps it down. I always want the mystery to be the top. But it's not as bad as I was expecting, because this pulls it through. I feel like so often Christian books, which like I'm gonna have a whole different video on that, but I feel like so often they're just like, yeah, they mention church once, or they mention God once, or, you know, they come across as handsome guy, so they pray once, or I don't know, it's just, it's so surface level, and I feel like it is not in this book. And so for that reason, I'm not despising it and thinking it's as cheesy as I would otherwise. So yeah, I'm going to continue with these books. Right, so Deadly Proof here, I'm 220 pages in, so I have about 100 pages left. And if I finish this one, I probably should just read more Middlemarch, but I might just pick up another one of these and see what we find. Not these, but one of the other ones the librarian picked for me, The Lord is My Shepherd or Oath of Honor. This one is the with her dead partner's brother, Ryan, a handsome homicide detective. That's the one that sounded so cheesy. Okay, but yeah, we'll see what I pick up. I'll read these books for a bit and then pick up one of these other ones probably. Okay, let's just talk about all the books here, why don't we? First of all, I finished Deadly Proof. Okay. I was overall impressed with this book, I guess. I kind of went into it with really low expectations. Once again, here's all of the prayer, God references. So there was quite a few, way more than I remember in most Christian romance fiction books. The mystery in this was pretty good. I enjoyed that portion of it. The one thing, and I think I was looking at my like calendar of when I'm scheduling videos here. I think maybe my Christian fiction or Christian romance rant video or whatever I'm going to call it will already be up by now. So if it is, check that out. But this book falls into one of the pitfalls that really bothers me. And so this guy is guarding this girl and they're like constantly in her house alone, which when they start to like each other kind of seems a little not smart. But yeah, this one, it wasn't bad. I probably will give this like a 3.5 star. The lawyer thing isn't my favorite, but that's just personal preference. Yeah, I don't know. So there was that one. Then I thought I would pick up this one, The Lord is My Shepherd. See those religious tabs? Because you don't, because there is none. Because this was a really hard book to do that for. So in this one, our main character is a church secretary, and there is a string of murders around Easter week. So we are constantly bombarded with church talk and stuff, but like nowhere in here that I can remember, there goes my cat being really weird. Nowhere in here can I like really remember anyone even really praying. Like the first mention of prayer, I think I wrote it down, it's page 9, and she says, "Please God, let the soda machine not be empty." So like not really a prayer. Yeah, so our main character is a church secretary. She stumbles across a body in the church one morning, and this rabbi hears her because their synagogue is right beside it or whatever, and he comes and helps her. So there's not really a romance in here, although they kind of like get interested in each other. I think it's the first book in a series, so I don't know if we follow the same characters or not. I read this in 3 hours. Not necessarily because it was really good, but because I was just really curious about it. Oh man, like I feel like I can't gather my thoughts because this book felt all over the place. The writing was all over the place. There was a lot of church tension. Like the main pastor and I don't know if it was the associate pastor or like the drama pastor, something like that. They like really don't like each other and don't get along. And there was a lot of like inner church conflict, which I know happens, but like after reading this, I was like, oh, why would anyone want to go to church after reading this book? Like it was just, yeah, it really didn't have much good going for it. One thing, because we have the rabbi as one of the characters, and it was during Passover, I feel like I learned more about Jewish traditions than I was aware of. I learned that Passover cleaning is really intense, and thank goodness I'm not Jewish. But yeah, like this is not a series I would recommend spending any time reading based off of this book. So I read that yesterday. Let's see here. I'm still listening to this book. Still don't know how this guy's alive. I'd just be dead so many times over. I have just over 100 pages left, I believe. So should finish that soon. Middlemarch. I'm on page 230. So like, probably like a quarter or so. Oh man. So this is set during the Industrial Revolution, which I don't read many books during that time period. So I feel like there's a lot that's going over my head. Plus it's a classic. Plus like there's all this church politics that was, you know, really common back in the day. And like, I know church politics can be common now, but this is like a different kind of church politics that just, yeah, really goes over my head. I've been wondering, like, why am I forcing myself to read classics? Like, is it really worth finishing this book? I don't know. I think we should read classics, right? Like, there are classics for a reason? I don't know. Someone help me out here. Should I be reading this? Should I care to read classics? I feel like I'm usually disappointed in classics because they should, in my mind, be good because they've stood the test of time. But I often just end up feeling really disappointed. So yeah, I don't know. This book, it's not terrible, but like definitely not riveting. Still trying to read my 40 pages a day. I read a little more than that yesterday. Haven't read all my pages for today, so we'll see how that goes. And then I started this book, Oath of Honor. I'm like 70 pages in. There's a reason that I remember that I used the library a lot as a kid because I read a lot of Christian mysteries. They don't take me long to read. You can't reread them because you already know what happens for the most part. But this one, it feels like a ripoff of Dee Henderson's, like The Negotiator, the O'Malley series, because it has a bunch of siblings who are all in like law enforcement, and there's a surgeon, and then their friends are lawyers, so they're all involved in these very professional careers, and you know, drama happens, things go down. So far, I've marked up 3 instances of religious references, I guess for lack of better terminology, but really all it is like they said they needed to wait and pray. So like the word prayer was on one page. Like there really hasn't been much here. So like, yeah, there was like, they said something about dumb luck or divine intervention. Oh, his father was probably praying. But like that's it. There's been like no actual faith conversation. It's just mildly mentioned the word prayer and that there might be someone in charge. So I'm curious to see where this goes. So far, like the mystery portion is okay. Yeah, I don't really have much good to say here yet. It's not terrible, but like I expect more. Okay, so I will probably finish this book. Oh, I thought my stack was gonna fall. Today or tomorrow. And then I'm still, yeah, working my way through those other 2 books. And then I want to pick up Bob here soon because this looks like a cute little book and it's short and it's middle grade, which I haven't read much of this month at all other than Sweep. So yeah, I will keep reading and I will do another update in a couple days. Okay, I don't really know what's going on this month. Normally I don't read much in the summer, but July has been crazy. I've just been reading a ton. So I have another stack of books here to talk about. And let's get started. First of all, Middlemarch. I don't really have a whole lot to say about this book. I'm plodding along 330-ish pages in, so doing quite well. I have been reading at least 40 pages a day. I do not currently plan on reading this during reading rush, so that means I will have 400-ish pages left to read at the end of the month. So reading rush ends on the 26th, so I have the 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, and 31st to read about 400 pages. Not exactly the way I want to end the month, but that's probably what I'm going to do. Then I finished Unbroken. So I've been listening to it on audio, mostly while I've been exercising this month. And then yesterday I had about 100 pages left, so I just read the end of it. Oh man, first of all, like, these pictures in here are so powerful. They really add to the story. So as I was listening to the book, I would often like flip through and see where I was at with the pictures. But there was one that really hit me here. Let's see if I can find it. It was like a prisoner of war picture. And it was just like, wow, these guys lost a lot of weight. Like, isn't that crazy? Like, and then the things that they went through. Oh man, a very good story, a very good ending, a good story as in like not like happy fluffy story, but very well written story of a really hard number of years. I don't know. Definitely I would recommend this. The audio was great. Like everyone said, the narrator was really great. So done that one. Then I finished Oath of Honor. I don't think had I started this last time? I think maybe just. So we did get a few religious references, or religious like faith-based references here. It wasn't a ton, which is okay. Oh man, I struggle with like Christian fiction. The mystery in this was really good. The romance part, completely predictable, as every other Christian fiction book. I would love some Christian fiction recommendations that don't have a romance in them. Like, I'm not against some romance in a book, like characters falling in love and whatever, but does it have to happen every single time? That's not true. It doesn't. There are some exceptions, but like, does it have to happen 95% of the time? I think there is a series that I found that might, well, if it's a series. Ooh, the sun went behind the clouds. That got dark. I don't think, you can't end up with someone at the end of every book if it's following the same character through the whole series. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I don't know. This one was kind of like mafia type mystery. We follow a police officer, and her partner gets murdered right off the bat in the book, and yeah, so she tries to solve the crime, obviously. That part was really interesting. So I will probably give this one about a 4-star. We'll see. And then like I said, yes, I did talk about this one because I think I said that it was very much like Dee Henderson's The O'Malley series. She has siblings who are, other, mostly law enforcement. There's also like a surgeon, and I'm pretty sure the next book follows one of her siblings. So like very, very O'Malley-esque that way. So that was that one. I can be done talking about that one now. And then I picked up this one that I got from the library. I'm pretty sure I had requested this one during middle grade March, and then I never picked it up in March, so I just picked it up now. This is a really cute story. So I had read the inside flap, I think. So it's about a girl who goes to Australia to visit her grandma and finds a little green creature in the closet that she left there 5 years ago, last time she visited. And I mean, the story is ridiculous, silly, but there's a lot there at the same time. And the author writes lists a lot. So like this one list is like, here's the different things that this little green creature sees in the closet. And on the back here it said, here are some of the things I did while I awaited Livy's return. And yeah, I don't know, I just like creativeness in books like that. Really cute story. I might actually buy this one. I thought it was really, really well done. Good little like fairy tale-esque story. Okay, one more book to talk about, and that is Hero of the Ages. So I picked this up last night just before going to bed and read a few pages. Like I had read, I think 86 pages at the end of June, and then I hadn't read anything since. And so I think I'm gonna read my 40 pages a day of Middlemarch today and tomorrow, and then I'm gonna read this otherwise. And then put both of these down for Reading Rush, and then pick them back up after Reading Rush, I think is my plan right now. So that will be the closing of this vlog. And my next one will be a Reading Rush one. I will probably just do that whole week as one. It's probably what I'll do. So thanks for watching, guys. I would love to hear if you have any recommendations for books that I should keep an eye out for, request from the library, buy, look for at the thrift store, all the bookish things.